Okay, next section. Where'd my clicker go? In the weeds. So we try to do big, 100,000 foot view, and we try to do, 30-foot view. So DJ and I, we met online. And it's a true story. It's not that actually, eHarmony. No. DJ was living in North Carolina. His wife was coming to medical school at the University of Utah, and we saw some tweets, and we both loved In-N-Out, and he came out here, and we camped overnight at the Draper In-N-Out to get first in line, and we've gone ice climbing together and stuff, and DJ works his day job as the director of community for Blue Sky Factory. And they're an email marketing services company that's based back east, and he works from here. And I've been talking to him about what could we talk about at these launch-ups, and we came up with talking about the thought about community, and specifically how can community management help startups, and how can that community actually help you on your way to sales. And so DJ is going to talk to us about that, and I'm really excited. So come on up, DJ.
Love if everybody claps first and you have no idea what you're in for. Well, Jeremy stole a bunch of my thunder already because I was going to talk about how we met online. And then based on how you all reacted to that, I'm not so sure I want to go into more detail. Oops, I already went the wrong way. Okay. So, so I'm going to talk to, this is the biggest screen I've ever seen, so I'm going to try to not stand super close to it. But my role at Blue Sky Factory is director of community. So as Jeremy mentioned, what I do is all the social media stuff. So I do the Twittering, I manage all the Twitter accounts. I do everything from going and talking at events like this to different webinars and presentations, mostly around email and social media. Our company focuses a lot on how email and social media go together. So I'm going to talk about this idea of how to be there before the sale, and this is what I like to call the entrepreneur version of that. So a couple of disclaimers. I'm not an entrepreneur. As I said to someone earlier, I honestly just do not have the cojones to do what you all are doing. So someday I think I will. I do have aspirations to be an entrepreneur, but currently I'm not an entrepreneur. I do. Yeah, I'm probably. Yeah, I'm somewhere. I think I'm somewhere over here, and I like to talk. No, I'm actually in the technology stuff too. But I like to talk. I like to talk a lot in general. So I really did meet Jeremy online, and Jeremy told that story already. The third disclaimer is those are used to be three of my favorite things, and now I have a fourth. I have a 10-week-old daughter. She has a Twitter account, actually, Baby Waldo. The fourth disclaimer, and she's working on a website and a blog right now, but that'll be up soon. So the fourth thing is that this presentation I'm going to give in now less than 10 minutes. I'm also giving an hour-long webinar with Amber Nosland, who's the director of community at a company called Radian 6 on June 30th. So you guys get the preview, and I also get to practice on you. And the last one is I tend to do presentations that have mostly images that are hopefully Creative Commons licensed images versus words. So you won't see a lot of words. This is not one of those presentations that you want to print out necessarily. Okay, so before I get into the guts of this, I want to talk about what I think is the old sales model. And the old sales model, and this is probably less about technology, but the old sales model really is you build a storefront, you have a product, and you put up a sign, and you sell stuff, and you hope that people buy stuff. And that's kind of how it's always been for years. And then all of a sudden there was this thing called the internet. And I believe strongly that the new sales model looks very much like the old sales model. The difference is you now have things that are online. And this is actually, I think, somebody taking a picture of the storefront. So now you have more technology to enable that too. But fundamentally, it's the same stuff. People are trying, you're all creating companies with an intent to sell some type of product or service to make money, to go from step 1 to 3, and hopefully you figure out the number 2 in between. So this is kind of the only slide that has the words on it. This is the one that if you wanted to print it out, if you wanted to write it down, this would be the one. These are what I think are the 7 steps or the 7 ways to be there before the sale. And before I go into all these different things, what I mean about being there before the sale, does that make sense to people when I say be there before the sale? You don't have to raise your hands. You could just nod or wink or something. Okay, so nobody nodded or winked. So let me explain really quick. What I mean by about being there before the sale, that means like not being that guy that goes somewhere and says, goes to a cocktail party and says, look at me, I've got this great stuff, this great product and service I want to sell. This is all about how to do all that stuff and to sell your product and services without being that guy. So the first one is, and I think this is probably obvious. I hope this is obvious, but it's one of those, it's kind of the simple versus easy. Have a product that doesn't suck. And hopefully you all are building some technology that is not going to suck. But as you know, there's so many products out there that suck. And this is just obviously a search for, just in Google for the search for the word suck. So the thing about social media is that if you're using social media and talking about your product online and it sucks, you're only going to look worse. Is there something I missed, something that's really funny? Oh, John oh, right. Yeah, so maybe I should have covered that up. The next big thing to do is listen. And, when you talk about social media in general, you'll hear in any social media presentation about listening. And what people are saying about their product company. And right, you want to know what people are saying about your company. Listening for what people are saying about your industry or other products or other services within your industry. So that's also a really big one. Third is to build a community management team. And I think this one, as entrepreneurs especially, this is something I would be thinking about doing now. And I don't mean community management team necessarily as you have to have a person like me that's title is director of community, you have to have a social media manager, anything like that. What I mean by that is you have to have people within your organization or if it's just you right now or you and a partner that are constantly evangelizing about what you do. So I give this as a graphic. The gentleman in the top left is our CEO, Greg Cangelosi, who founded the company Blue Sky Factory 9 years ago, and he basically was the de facto community. Hired Chris Penn, but we also have the rest of our organization who are essentially community managers. But more important than that, we have, the more we do all the steps I'm talking about tonight, we have people within our community, and that could be partners, it could be prospects, could be customers, could be just fans who also are part of our community management team. So those are the people that are talking about us without us being there. So hopefully right now, somebody is talking good things about Blue Sky Factory without me having to manage that. The next thing is engage. And again, engage is one of those words you hear in social media a lot too. And by engage, I mean, and I'm using some examples here from Twitter, but by engage, it's you do it network after this. Also, this stuff that happens, the example on the left is Sky Factory Twitter. Kind of it's just an exchange of conversation back and forth with some people we know, some people we don't know all that well. And on the right, does anybody know Peter Shankman? So for those that don't, because it was just a handful of people, Peter Shankman started Help a Reporter out, and he's like, I think Josh is funny. I mean, he stands up here. This guy will curse, and Peter, if you're out there, I love you. No, I mean he's just like very passionate about what he talks about. So, but this is an example on the right here of I said I have this 10-week-old and I happen to be. This is one page, and comment and click, and then I followed up with something that was probably a little bit more professional. But he responded, He responded back, and are we going to do business with him? Probably not today or next month or this year, but now planted a seed in his head that we're out there and listening and we're out there engaging. The other big one, and this is I think very easy to do now with technology, obviously, is creating content. And these are things that you can do and hopefully are doing before you're even starting your business. You're out there, you're on LinkedIn or any of these other platforms, content, you're repurposing content, you're doing webinars, you're doing something to create value before you even have this product or service that you're creating. Am I cool on time, Jeremy? Yikes.